Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Hello Mayans, and welcome back to my channel. If you're part of that 80% who are watching this and haven't subscribed yet, subscribe already. Now before we get going today, I just want to say that yesterday I got huge news for my channel. Enormous news. It's actually hard to overstate how big this news is, and I can't tell you. This news is so big it actually requires press releases and announcements on websites. So until that happens, I can't tell you. However, if you want to know the minute it happens, the second even, subscribe to my social media down below. Because as soon as it happens, I am going to put it all over the place. And then you'll know too. Otherwise, you're just going to have to wait until next week's video or maybe the week after that, because I'm not exactly sure when that news is going to be announced. All I can say is that if you happen to live in Anaheim or close to Anaheim, California, around the dates of July 10th to 13th, I might be there. I'm not gonna say why. Now that I've got that out of the way, on to the heart of the video. And if I'm being totally honest, which I always am, I really didn't want to make this video. I thought it was gonna be hard to make. Hours and hours of finding examples of transphobia in movies and then finding those exact clips that I needed. So I put a query out to you, and then I also did a little research on my own, and what I found out was that it was shockingly easy to find examples of this. Because this theme just recurs over and over again. The same kind of joke told again and again and again. Imagine if you were settling into one of these movies, one of your favorite kinds of movies, and all of a sudden, spoilers, Avengers Endgame has this incredibly transphobic scene pop up. Okay, that did not happen in Avengers Endgame. But if we go way back to the beginning, to the very first movie that started it all, we have this scene.
Look who fell out of the sky, Mr. Tony Stark.
Speaking of manned or unmanned, you got to get him to tell you about the time he guessed wrong at Spring Break. Just remember that. Spring Break, 1987. That lovely lady you woke up with. What was his name?
Don't do that.
Was it Ivan?
Don't do that. They'll believe that. Don't do that.
But that was from Iron Man in 2008 in a scene that starred Robert Downey Jr., of course, as Tony Stark. This is by far not the earliest example of this particular transphobic joke. So I give you the barroom scene in Crocodile Dundee.
I've been trying to tell you all night, that girl, she's a guy. A man dressed up as a girl.
That was a guy. Guy dressed up like a sailor.
So what do we have here? We have the enactment of the very joke that Tony Stark is telling in Iron Man. And then to make things even worse, Crocodile Dundee handles the whole situation by going in and reaching and touches her genitals. And then everybody falls out laughing like it is the funniest joke in the world. How is that funny at all? Somebody just got sexually assaulted. We do realize that, folks, right? So now we fast forward from 1986 to 1991 in another movie that I actually quite like a lot as well, Soap Dish.
Before she came to our little clinic, she was Milton Moorhead of Syosset, Long Island. Hello. No! No!
She's a boy.
Yeah, well, we knew that.
Are you all right?
Fine. I'm just gonna go congratulate the others.
This scene is what the whole movie hinges on, that Kathy Moriarty's character is a transgender woman and a deceiver, right? That's the trope. We are devious and we're gonna stab you in the back and we're going to seduce you into a relationship that you don't want. And there's Robert Downey Jr. again, as he gets up to vomit because, you know, that is how disgusting transgender women are. As Gary Marshall actually says in a scene, she's a boy. In the eyes of the public, we are men, and no wonder, because this kind of scene has been hammered home over and over and over again. And now we move forward a few more years in history. Now we're up to 1994 and Naked Gun 33 1/3.
He looked a little like Phil Donahue. White hair.
Here we have another transgender woman played by a cisgender woman, springing a surprise on a poor cisgender man. You know, here's my penis. Not only that, the penis is oddly hooked. I don't have any idea what that's about. Except, I don't know, to make the scene even a little more twisted in some way. And the typical reaction again, the need to vomit. The same joke, again, it's just a different variation. Because at the heart of all this, besides transphobia, is that it's homophobia. A cisgender heterosexual male fear that they're somehow going to be called gay. That they're going to have sex accidentally with somebody that has a penis. Which is exactly what appears to have happened in the next movie, which is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
If the lieutenant is indeed a woman, as she claims to be, then my friend, She is suffering from the worst case of hemorrhoids I have ever seen!
So again, more throwing up, more extreme reactions from apparently every male in the room, including the dolphin. In a cultural callback, the music that is playing in that scene is actually from Boy George, and it is from the movie The Crying Game, which itself is a movie about this beautiful woman who turns out to be a transgender woman and still have her penis. Which, for those of you who are too young to remember, The Crying Game manifested itself into the social consciousness like in a big way. It kept being parodied over and over and over again, specifically for the scene where the main character reveals her penis to her lover. I suspect that's what's going on in Naked Gun as well. They're just referencing that scene too. And the message is loud and clear that transgender women are disgusting. And it's no wonder why I was so reluctant to come out. I mean, these are the kinds of scenes I've been seeing my entire life growing up. I can name other movies where that has happened in the past too, like Silence of the Lambs or Dressed to Kill, where it's not just bad enough that we have a penis and we want to have sex with you, we're actually criminals and murderers and just psychopaths. But that kind of bold transphobia in media is so last millennia, right? We jump forward 5 years to 2005 and a 40-year-old virgin for this scene.
Do you guys even like me? Or is this some sort of cruel joke that you're all in on? Because I'm not a freak. I'm a good person.
So you're saying she was definitely a man?
Yes.
Okay, well, how did you know that she was a man?
Because her hands were as big as Andre the Giant's. And she had an Adam's apple as big as her balls.
And of course the very old tropes that you can tell a transgender woman by her Adam's apple and the size of her hands. I got little hands and no Adam's apple. And I did nothing to change those. That was the way I was born. Jump forward to 2011 and we have this scene in Hangover 2.
You in Bangkok, sweetie. There's a reason they don't call it Bangkok.
Oh! Oh, God!
Wow.
Oh, God!
Sue, it's not the end of the world. I'm sorry, but I am so confused.
I made love to a man.
Well, we're getting an improvement. At least that is actually a transgender actress playing a transgender role. Bradley Cooper's character actually calms him down and says that no one's ever going to talk about it and that, you know, it's not a big deal, that kind of thing. Very, very, very tiny improvement there. But still, the horror is still there on everyone's faces, the revulsion. So now we jump forward to 2016 for these scenes.
I'm calling Wang.
That was a very short clip from Deadpool, a movie I absolutely adore. And what he is saying in that scene is the strong woman that straps him down to the table is actually a man. And just so non-binary folks don't get left out of the action, we have Benedict Cumberbatch.
Meet the biggest supermodel in the whole world is all.
Are you like a male model or a female model?
All is all. I think he's asking, do you have a hot dog or a bun?
Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson playing out the cisgender right to know what the genital status is of that character. Conflating genitals and gender identity and gender expression. Cisgender world, they're not the same. Stop making movies where you say they are the same. Unless you think this is only movies, I give you this little gem between Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt.
During our sex scene, I felt your dick rubbing into me.
Part of the ridiculousness of it and part of the funny in it is the idea that Jennifer Lawrence would have a penis. The ridiculousness is, of course, that she is such a beautiful woman, which the subtext means is that, of course, transgender people aren't beautiful like that. I must admit I was really, really disappointed in this one because this was actual real life humor, and Jennifer Lawrence's reaction was like, good one, you know, let me put out the hand and shake it. I hope that was just done for the camera and that in real life she wouldn't actually react that way if somebody said that to her, but I don't know. This kind of comedy has just embedded itself into our social consciousness. It's become an enduring joke, and it makes a joke of transgender people. And comedy can be a great healer. It can be a way of looking at these things and defanging them, but that is not what is going on here. In fact, what is actually happening is that it's actually fanging it, because cisgender people, in particular cisgender straight men, and I would have to think also cisgender lesbians to some extent, get the message that transgender people are not to be desired. That your orientation is going to be questioned if you do desire a transgender person. The mind boggles. There are a lot of people out there who say that it is just not their preference to date a transgender person, and I believe that that is possible. That lack of attraction isn't always transphobia, but that preference argument is used as a get-out-of-jail-free card instead of investigating any of the things that make up that preference. Because you know what? Preference doesn't just come from up above like we can't help it. If I whacked you on the nose every time I gave you a piece of chocolate, after a while you would grow to hate chocolate, even if you loved it a lot before. And without all these media influences saying that transgender women are just disgusting? What would our preferences actually look like? I know it's easy to say that these are just jokes, but they have real world impacts that I think a lot of people just don't want to admit to themselves. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching all those transphobic scenes as much as I did. And if you can think of others from movies or TV or wherever, please put them in the comments below. Don't forget to follow my social media so you'll know about my big news as soon as it happens. And if you have a dime to spare, consider supporting me on my Patreon. And on that note, true believers, please like this video by giving it a thumbs up, please share this video, and please subscribe. See you around the interwebs. You know, like Spider-Man.